Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our 2018 Scottish Rite Distinguished Teacher Portrait Ceremony. My name is Eric Weber and I'm the Associate Superintendent for Human Resources for LPS, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies. For many, many years, the Scottish Rite has supported this very distinguished award for Lincoln Public Schools, and we're thrilled to have some of them join us here today to help us support this great award winner today. And so to get things started off, I'd like to introduce our Superintendent, Dr. Steve Joel.
Well, good afternoon, and I want to echo what Dr. Weber said. This is a highlight of the year for us. It's an opportunity for us to recognize fantastic work within Lincoln Public Schools. You know, we have about 3,500 teachers. We feel like every one of them is doing a tremendous job. But it's great to be able to find those that demonstrate the highest proficiency for excellence in the classroom and excellence in a school and excellence in a building. You know, to be a great teacher, it's more than, way more than content, as Terry knows. And those of you that are teachers in the room, you know, it's not about content, it's about kids. It's about relationships. It's about mentoring younger teachers. It's about giving back to the profession. It's about helping schools become better. It's about what I read in the bio, that not only are you, at a time in your career when you could take the differentiated, gifted children, you choose to take the students that struggle the most. That's what great teachers do. And nobody does it any better than Terry Abrams, and we are so proud to honor you. And you will now exist in perpetuity within LPSDO, and for people to know that you do stand tall as a tremendous representative of what we believe in Lincoln Public Schools, and that is that every kid gets everything we have to the best of our ability every day, and you do that. So thank you very much. I also want to say thank you to the Scottish Rite, some gentlemen who I've gotten to know over the years. They continue to support this program in a very big way, and you know, we're very blessed and fortunate within Lincoln to have the kind of community partners that help us and do the things that we can do to continue to call attention to the great work taking place in our classrooms. So I want to personally thank the folks that are representing Scottish Rite here today, but I know there's many more. And let me then introduce, for some remarks to the group, Mr. Bruce Wood with the Scottish Rite, and would you welcome him to the podium, please?
Well, thank you. I am Bruce Wood, and I'm the General Secretary for the Scottish Rite. With me today, and hopefully I'll get all their names right and remember them as I go down the line here, members of the Scottish Rite with us are Rod Poskichil, Mike Buckhart, Mike Gray, and Terry. And all of a sudden I forgot the last name, see? But I think a lot of people around here know Terry very well. I did just a little research. Terry and I got to talking about how this all got started. So I dug back in the archives of the Scottish Rite, and I found some information. Back in 1964, Lincoln Scottish Rite formed an education committee. The mission of this committee was to seek out and recognize the excellence among classroom teachers and make the public aware of that vital role a teacher plays in molding youth in to make a better society. There were some pretty heavy hitters on that committee. The committee was chaired by John Selleck. He was the chairman, and John was the business manager for University of Nebraska, and he was also acting chancellor at one time, just before Chancellor Harding. Nathan Gold was a member of that committee. Many of you know him from Gold's Department Store. James Keel was an educator. He was principal of Mickle Junior High. Herb Henderson was chairman of the board of Midwest Life Insurance Company. Walter White was executive vice president of Lee Enterprises and publisher of the Lincoln Journal-Star. And Dr. Stephen Watkins, who was the superintendent of Lincoln Public Schools at the time. The plan they proposed to the Board of Education was to honor an outstanding classroom teacher in Lincoln Public Schools. The Board of Education approved this plan. I'm thinking that maybe having the superintendent on the committee maybe helped grease the wheel just a little bit there. But anyway, they did. But at the time, it was emphasized that the person selected would be one of many outstanding classroom teachers in the Lincoln Public Schools. And at the time, it was hoped that this program would continue and many outstanding teachers would be honored throughout the years. The very first Scottish Rite Distinguished Teacher was awarded in 1965. The recipient was Robert Rez from Lincoln Northeast High School. As we all know, the program did continue over many years, and many outstanding teachers have been so honored. So today we're gathered this afternoon to again honor and recognize Terry Abrams. She's the 54th, if we've all done our math right, the 54th Scottish Rite Teacher of the Year. Much has changed over the years, but the classroom teacher is still the heart of the education process. And the Lincoln Scottish Rite continues to recognize and will continue to recognize excellence among classroom teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Now, one thing that I would also like to add, and we're just so appreciative of, Bruce and Terry came to me about 3 years ago and said, we want to do more. We want to give more. We want to make this as big as we possibly can, with a very substantial increase in the donation amount for this award up to the amount that it's at now at $5,000. So once again, just one great big huge thanks to Scottish Rite. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium the Lincoln Public Schools Board of Education President, Connie Duncan.
I can relax, I'm with my people. As Dr. Joel says, it's so nice that Southwest has their own school board member. Well, good afternoon. Every fall, we gather here together and officially honor the winner of the Scottish Rite Distinguished Teacher of the Year. The recipients of this award are more than just Scottish Rite winners. They serve as symbols, representing the many outstanding educators in our school district and continuing the tradition handed down by many teachers before them. Today, however, we come together to celebrate with friends and family this year's winner and a fellow teacher friend of mine, Dr. Terry Abrams, English Department Chair and Teacher from Lincoln Southwest. So this week, I read through some of the comments that your colleagues included in your application. It made me smile. Can you see I'm still smiling? I won't cry, I'll just smile. Here's some things they said. Terry builds relationships with students, gets to know their stories so she can meet their needs in her classroom. She values each and every student for who they are. She truly believes all means all. She pushes students further than they ever thought they could go. She creates a family with her staff, makes sure they are taken care of professionally and personally. It makes us all smile, doesn't it? As a member of the Lincoln Public Schools Board of Education, Terry, I thank you. I thank you for everything you have done for our students, teachers, and our community. I would also like to thank the Lincoln Scottish Rite for their constant and true support of our school district and for honoring our public school educators. They join us in believing in the power of public education and in the knowledge there is no job more important to our collective futures than being an educator. Once again, congratulations, Terry.
At this time, we have a video that we would like to show you to help you to understand a little bit more about the award and why Terry is the fit for this award. So we'll cue up the video. Doug?
I came to the district in 1993. I was hired at Northeast. Terry just became the department chair that year. She did this incredible job of welcoming us all in that were new. And the minute I met her, I knew that we had a connection and that I was going to be loving to be a part of her department and be under her leadership at that point in time.
I first had the opportunity to work with Terry when she and I met at Southwest, and she was department chair in English, and I got to praise the English department. So that was the first time that I met Terry. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I was a little bit intimidated by her because she just had this wealth of instructional knowledge and professional knowledge about literacy.
I did not realize the impact that Terry had on the Lincoln community and the LPS community until we were taking a seed class, and Leslie Eastman from the district office was like, oh yeah, I know Terry from way back when she taught at Northeast, and she pulled up this national article of all these fascinating things that Terry was doing, and that was in the 80s or 90s. I'll say 90s because that makes it sound fresher, but and it was just this beautiful article about Tara and just the wonderful work she does and what a fabulous teacher she was.
She's a very valued voice in our building. When people need, I think people, you go to people. I value her opinion, as this is year 4 here, but when it came time to sit down and learn about Southwest, Dr. Abrams was one of those conversations that helps sets the compass.
Terry's one of the wisest people I've known. I know. So she's smart. Like, she has this intellect, right? But lots of people have, intelligence in teaching. She transcends knowledge, or she's able to just transcend knowledge in ways that not very many people I've met are able to do that. So whether it is dealing with an emotional staff member and being able to talk them off the cliff, or just reason with them, and I know that that's in her classroom all the time. She's able to just again calm kids down, calm staff down.
She is also incredible at seeing each and every individual's value. And though there may be some philosophical differences between some of the teachers, she was able to look at and say, your strength is, and we're going to capitalize on that strength and use it. No one felt as though they weren't a valued member of her department.
Every staff, you have your culture leaders and your opinion leaders and your instructional leaders, right? She's kind of all that wrapped up into one. And so what she lends really, really valuable insight and perspective to every discussion that we have. I know when we sit in department chair meetings, she's very calculated and thoughtful with what she shares. It always comes from what are we going to do that's best for students?
Terry's she's a student advocate for sure. They matter most to her. They guide everything that she does, her learning, her everything, from assessment to instruction. And so students have always been at the center of what she's done.
Tara is an amazing English teacher, and she has a way of getting kids to recognize not necessarily that they need English, but they need education. I think it's really difficult to, especially in a subject like English, where a lot of students have been turned off by reading and writing, to find a way to keep them engaged and to get them engaged. And Tara does a really good job of learning kids' stories and using those to kind of try and help them to get through the things that they need to get through. This was just one of those awards where when we think about who are those names when you read the past winners that are the best of the best, the 1%, who are those 1% that every kid who they encounter has a outstanding academic experience, just a personal relationship with their teacher. That's Dr. Abrams. When we were looking at one of those names that belongs on that list, we were shocked that her name wasn't on that list.
Absolutely, it should be Terry. I mean, who else better than Terry for the work and her commitment and her dedication? And she's a selfless leader. She puts others first, not only in her department, but students. She always has time for you, whether you're the student or one of her colleagues. And like I said earlier, just her professionalism and her passion for what she has chosen to be her profession is unmatched.
I have grown up as a teacher with her, from a baby teacher to now, and I couldn't have done it without her.
You've been an incredible friend and colleague all of these years, someone I can always depend upon, someone who can look at an issue and see it in so many ways, can help to lead people, including myself, to the right decisions.
As educators, there are a lot of days where we wonder, am I doing this right? You know, you're trying to get through it, and you know the basics and the things that you need to accomplish, but did you do that the right way? And ultimately, did you teach them life outside of education? And so to see somebody get recognized that has kind of led the way for a lot of us and has done such an awesome job, I just think that truly speaks to what Terry has done, and I hope she's as proud of herself as the rest of us are.
I love you, Terry. Yeah.
Mr. Wood, if you'll please join us for the portrait presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please help me recognize and welcome Terry Abrams.
Terry, it is my privilege on behalf of the Scottish Rite and Lincoln Public School System to present you the official portrait of the Distinguished Teacher of the Year for 2018.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna say a couple words. I'm just going to say a couple words real quickly. I am so honored to receive this award, but you have to know that it's everybody receiving this award, everybody I work with, because I can't do that. No one does. We don't do this alone. We never do. It's all of us working together. And from my life at Northeast and my life at Southwest, I've just been so lucky to be surrounded by these terrific people who've helped me grow, and a district that is committed to teacher growth. I've had so many opportunities being a part of Lincoln Public Schools that I can't even begin to name them all, really. And of course the friendships that are lifetime friendships. And I really have to thank the oldest person in the room, though. Snap out of it, Dad. He doesn't remember this, but, well, he's always been supportive, always, my whole life. But one day, I was teaching in West Des Moines, and he would come up sometimes, and he came up, and I have no idea where we were going, hardware store or something, I don't know. And he said, well, how are your students doing? And I said, well, most of them are doing okay. He said, is anybody failing? And I said, I got a couple. And he was like, oh, really upset him. He's like, no kid should fail. You know? And I always remember that. But okay, the thing he said that always stuck with me was about kindness. So he said, well, just always be nice to him. So. I just feel so lucky to be able to have all these people around me that I love and that are here. So thank you all. Appreciate it so much.
Please feel free to stick around and have some conversation. We have some cupcakes and some beverages, and just enjoy some time together helping us celebrate Terry. Thanks again.